try a loop?
Sure.
Ready?
South China are old friends of ours, husband and wife team. Last year we recorded their first album. They went on a 5-month tour starting last October and are just back, and they're going to be back for a few months. I always, in the back of my mind, since I was a child, thought about running a label.
That's going to pick up my vocals. You know, it always picks up my vocals.
Well, if you have the mic there, you don't have to sing as loud as you usually do.
Let's
I was
try
in a
it.
band called Harpsful Sound. We thought we should have a name to put the record out under, so I put Peapod Recordings on it. That project ran its course, and I thought, well, I'm going to try to put something, do something a little more serious, and I started working with other artists and putting stuff together. The labels I always really loved, I felt like were a real kind of community of friends and not necessarily like a hard and fast, like weird business arrangement. It's sort of like if you need a contract, maybe you should rethink whether you want to really get into working with whoever, So that was kind of my idea, that it would be like a group of friends kind of being just sort of cheerleading for each other and being supportive. I manage all the production. I do a lot of the design work, digital distribution, physical stuff. I do mail order. I pack them up myself and send them out. It's like soup to nuts pretty much. Like I'm trying to do everything, manage the website. I don't know what else. Sweep. I don't know. So I was kind of thinking maybe if you guys are cool with it, to have you set up facing each other.
We have kind of been facing each other when we play, but we can kind of angle in more.
I guess just set up, how you normally do, and then we'll just see from there. But I was thinking if one person was here and one there or something. And where do you think the piano should go?
We've been putting it right in between us.
Okay.
Just got back to Portland from tour.
Went to California and Oregon and spent a month in Colorado to write new songs, and then kind of went back to the West Coast and retraced our steps.
We definitely learned a lot playing so many shows, and it's hard, like playing, especially with our type of music. It's so quiet and sparse, and you're trying to play a loud club where people are just talking. It's hard to get people's attention sometimes, so we ended up just actually being as quiet as possible, and that usually quieted everybody down. They'd listen.
Yeah, we actually hushed a chatty bar in Jacksonville, Florida.
Nice.
And they were like, "We've
Teach the
never seen
Floridians."
that. That's never happened in here before." It was really funny. We used to tour when we played in Brownbird, but never something, our tours would last maybe 2 weeks. But we'd never done anything this big before.
Well, the whole reason really originally for the tour was because I kept saying to my brother and his family that we're going to come out to Colorado to see them, but could never really afford it. So, and then we were putting on an album with Ron on Peapod, and it's like, let's just get rid of our apartment and everything we're paying for and just try to see if we could live on the road, and we did it. We made it there and back.
It's time to lay your head on my shoulder. Close
So I'm setting up the vocal mics first. It's fine. I've never been filmed doing this. It's like a little more like you're thinking, what is this? Yeah, I'm like, what is this thing here? How does this work? When I do a lot of scat singing when I set up mics.
He does. Yeah.
How's this kind of business? Is that going to be in the ballpark there? That's totally in your way, right?
Yeah. That might be a little bit of it. If it was just like a little bit higher, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that would be.
How's that?
Yeah, that seems like it's.
Let's
gonna
try
work.
it, and
Okay.
if we have to move things.
When you gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
So these guys tour with this electric piano, but for the record, we used a little acoustic upright that I have in the house.
Didn't we communicate by cell phone then?
Yeah, we did something crazy, right? I tried to use walkie-talkies,
That didn't work.
which didn't work.
So yeah, Drew was in the house with the piano and Mike's hooked up in there.
And I had headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would call Jerusha when we were ready for her to start playing the piano.
Like that.
And then Ron's cat, Snuffy, always thought Jerusha was talking to him. So on the recordings, if you listen to all the beginning of the piano songs, you'll hear this meow.
Yeah, it was, like just as I was about to start.
It starts the record, doesn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Snuffy the cat starts the record.
I'm going to use a ribbon mic on the guitar amp. There's a thin strip of corrugated metal in the middle here. What is it? Is it aluminum? What is it? Yeah. And with magnets on the side, and basically the sound vibrations hit the ribbon of aluminum, and that disturbs the magnetic field. And that's what that's the transducer. There's different elements, which is the thing that would vibrate from the sound. That condensers use like a little capsule, and ribbons have traditionally always used this little strip of metal, which is kind of funny, but it's got its own sound. Can I sneak behind you here? No. No.
I don't.
Oh. Can I sneak over this? Yeah. All right. Like I was saying, it's a figure of 8 mic. There's a null right here. The sound, it sort of picks up sound on both sides, so you can use that to your advantage by positioning the null where you don't want things to be picked up. Well, if you're looking at the mic, it's a figure of 8, which means there's a hemisphere here and a hemisphere here. So it's picking up in these circular or spherical patterns. This is the null where it's not picking up as much sound. So the mics all have their own characteristics as far as frequency response, how they react to the loudness of an instrument. You can also make decisions for a mic based on the preamp, which is taking the signal and boosting it to like a line level so you can actually record it. In that process, there's different ways of doing it, and you can make some decisions about how it's going to sound ultimately, a combination of the preamp and the microphone. Something in your way there? Okay, I think I'm good with that. Okay. How about electric? And the louder end?
Louder range?
Yeah. Come on.
As loud as I get.
Yeah, can I hear the loop in the guitar then?
Good.
I'm getting a little buzzing, I think, from the rolling, maybe. It's not terrible. I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
No, I think it's fine.
That's
It's
fine.
No, I think I'm in the ballpark.
Okay. Looks like I have a lot of things going on, but you won't really notice. Just little subtle loops I do, noise in the background. I use a little analog delay pedal to make some background noise, and then I just kind of copy it just to keep it going.
Something about the way you use your instruments. You know, an instrument is set up to make sounds a certain way, but you guys are sort of using all the parts of it. When we first did the record, there were things that I would think were kind of improvised or made up or something. Then I realized, like, the more takes we did, like every little, you know, nuance of a scrape or whatever it was is like you guys have really thought out.
Started to work on the WC cello sonata, which has lots of different sounds, like where you place your bow on the bridge. Studying those pieces kind of brings out all these ideas of what we can do in our own songs, and you know, that's something that I wish I could have spent more time on, you know, just like exploring different sounds that other people have written into their music.
Being so quiet, we have a large range of almost accidental discoveries of hitting our instruments a certain way, making a noise that if you're playing like in a louder band, you wouldn't notice those kind of things.
Yeah.
Right. Most of our songs came up out of improv. And
Yeah.
That's kind of how our sound developed.
normally when you hear a record, oftentimes the record has been pieced together, like the drums and the bass might have been recorded together. Then you'd add guitars and vocals will come at some point. So all that process is called overdubbing. You'll have a set version of the song with certain instruments, and then you can add other instruments to it. So on the record, Terry had some more instrumentation at the end. There were some strings and stuff like that. So we're going to overdub the accordion. So that's a part that Jeremy normally does live, and so we decided to add it as an extra track so you can hear what it sounds like with everything else. He'll be able to hear the stuff they recorded earlier through the headphones. And we have to use headphones and not play it in the room so it doesn't get picked up again through the mic that we're recording with. So now I'm going to make an additional track. Jeremy, can you tell me about where this is starting?
It's when we start the last loop. I don't know if you remember, where she starts doing these extra cello lines. More of an outlet for me, like a personal outlet of how maybe I think sometimes, or an expression. Because I could just stay at home and create this music, but there's some urge, like something inside me makes me go out on stage, even though it's horribly uncomfortable for me. I mean, I stare at the stage the whole time I'm playing, because I guess it is very personal to me, but I definitely want a reaction from people. I do want to hear an honest opinion about what I'm doing, because I know some people are going to hate it, even though nobody says that to us, to our faces. But I definitely, I'm looking for, I guess, an honest opinion from people I'm playing my music for, and for some reason I need to get it out and I need people to hear it, and I'm not quite sure why.
Music is the one thing that I've consistently done throughout my entire life. I just can't not do it. I've been performing pretty much my whole life, and in musical theater and choir, and I went to school for voice and doubled in music theory for a while. I love playing in other bands and coming up with parts and working with a lot of different groups of people. But this is my, when we started South China was really my first experience in kind of writing my own music, which has been amazing.
That's it's hard to record sometimes and actually put out a CD. I think that's maybe why it took us so long, because it's like this is this is it. Like, I kind of felt like this was a final destination for these songs, and it was kind of like, in my mind, I'm like, it's not really. It isn't.
Right. I definitely was involved just sort of in tracking and sort of, trying to, everyone sort of listening, and I just try to sort of support the vision more, overall the production. I think these guys had a pretty good idea of what they wanted for each song, which was great. It's like, that's one of the reasons it moved so quickly. Personally, I feel like when you make records quickly, sometimes they have a different kind of feeling than something that's really labored over. And I definitely think it comes through. It has like a kind of a fresh quality or something. In the digital world, it's so easy to like parse every set, whatever you're doing. You can sort of like dig into the craziest detail and fix and auto-tune or whatever it is, But I think most musicians would agree some of that stuff your ear's used to hearing or something, or it's like you listen to your favorite record, it's like that stuff, that's how it sounded. It's like that's people playing instruments in a room, it's not something else.
That's definitely like a big reason why we like to work with Ron, is because I would sit there forever and just keep re-recording things and trying to fix everything, and where it's nice to have Ron to be like, stop that, just, that take was good, and that had the right feeling.
I always think the feel of a take trumps kind of everything else. If you have 5 takes, it's like this one felt the best. How horrendous was that mistake, and can you live with it?
Spread the old quilts and lay July. Picnic overcast. We can walk out far. Follow the road uphill to see the shore below. All lost wandering, end up in someone's yard. Remember laughing in our living room, playing for hands in hotel lobby. Wishing you well in Japan.